Good morning again, friends, and thank you for joining me at 6:15 a.m. on this Thursday morning. Right? Is it Thursday? Yes, it's Thursday. So I want to do the second installment of this series of readings from the Suriy-i-Haykal, the Suri of the Temple by Bahá'u'lláh. And I'm going to start with a prayer. O my God, aid thou thy servant to raise up the word, to refute what is vain and false, to establish the truth, spread the sacred verses abroad, reveal the splendors, and make the morning's light to dawn in the hearts of the righteous. Thou art verily the generous, the forgiving. So we're starting from page 8 in the Summons of the Lord of Hosts. And this is the Suriy-i-Haykal, the Suri of the Temple by Bahá'u'lláh. O pen of the Most High, hearken unto the call of thy Lord, raised from the divine lote tree in the holy and luminous spot, that the sweet accents of thy Lord the All-Merciful may fill thy soul with joy and fervor, and that the breezes that waft from my name, the ever-forgiving, may dispel thy cares and sorrows. Raise up then from this temple the temples of the oneness of God, that they may tell out in the kingdom of creation the tidings of their Lord, the most exalted, the all-glorious, and be of them that are illumined by his light. Okay, so I want to do a little commentary on this. First of all, the way that this paragraph started was, O pen of the Most High. So pen is capitalized, and often Bahá'u'lláh is referred to as the pen of God because he wrote so much of his revelation down, and really, as far as I know, his predecessor, the Bab, and he were the first to really be writing down their own revelation. So he's called the pen. I find it very interesting. It says, raise up from this temple, and temple is capitalized. And I believe that the word temple in this case refers to Baha'u'lláh himself, the manifestation of God for this day. And he says, raise up then from this temple, capital T, the temples of the oneness of God, that they may tell out in the kingdom of creation the tidings of their Lord, the most exalted, the all-glorious, and be of them that are illumined by his light. So I think the temples of the oneness of God, that refers to the believers. So God is telling Baha'u'lláh to raise up believers who will talk about the revelation, the teachings of their Lord, the most exalted, the all-glorious. Now, the exalted was one of the titles of the Bab, Baha'u'llah's contemporary predecessor. And the all-glorious is a reference to Baha'u'lláh himself. So there's this oneness, the oneness of God, the oneness of his messengers, and the oneness of the messengers with God. And all of that is sort of implied here in this paragraph. We verily have ordained this temple, that's Bahá'u'lláh, to be the source of all existence in the new creation. So what is the new creation? The new creation is the regeneration and rejuvenation and spiritualization and pacification of the world. So this is the time that has been prophesied. This is the time of the end. This is the time of the shift. This is the time of Armageddon, in that everything that is unworthy in us as individuals and in us as a human race is going to be purged. And that's what we see going on now. And many people are highly disturbed because so much disturbing stuff is going on. But this is a passage that humanity has to go through to be purged from our own imperfections, our own selfness, our own disregard for what's best for the whole. So that's the new creation that we're raising up as we speak. Let's see. We verily have ordained this temple to be the source of all existence in the new creation. So everything that's coming into this new creation is a result of the revelation of Baha'u'lláh, the manifestation of God for the day in which we are living. That all may know of a certainty my power, His power, to accomplish that which I have purposed through my word be, and it is. Beneath the shadow of every letter of this temple, we shall raise up a people whose number none can reckon save God, the help in peril, the self-subsisting. Ere long shall God bring forth from His temple such souls as will remain unswayed by the insinuations of the rebellious, and who will quaff at all times of the cup that is life indeed. These truly are of the blissful. These are servants who abide beneath the shelter of the tender mercy of their Lord, and who remain undeterred by those who seek to obstruct their path. Upon their faces may be seen the brightness of the light of the All-Merciful, and from their hearts may be heard the remembrance of mine all-glorious and inaccessible name. Were they to unloose their tongues to extol the Lord, the denizens of earth and heaven would join in their anthems of praise. Yet how few are they who hear. And were they to glorify their Lord, all created things would join in their hymns of glory. Thus hath God exalted them above the rest of His creation, and yet the people remain unaware. These are they who circle round the cause of God, even as the shadow doth revolve around the sun. Open then your eyes, O people of the Bayan, that haply ye may behold them. It's hard to read.
Oh, it's hard to read.
Yeah. But good. Just, you can make it a little bit less. Okay, good. Sorry, we had to adjust the lighting. Oh, that was so that you could see the beautiful dawn behind me. That's why I'm sitting in front of the mirror, so that you can enjoy the beautiful coming of the dawn. So he says, open then your eyes, O people of the Bayan, that haply ye may behold them. So the people of the Bayan were the followers of the Bab. Now the Bab was like the John the Baptist of the Baha'i revelation, except that he himself was a manifestation of God. So we talk about the dual manifestations of God in this age, the Bab and Baha'u'lláh. And it's very significant because we're coming right up on the anniversary of the 200th anniversary of the birth of Bahá'u'lláh. And so it's a very significant time for us in the world, because Bahá'u'lláh, we believe, is the Lord of all creation, the return of Christ, who has come in the glory of the Father to bring this peace to the world, which we, the believers and the people of the world, have the honor and privilege of bringing into being as midwives to the process by following his instructions and his teachings, the divine teachings for today. So the people of the Bayan were the followers of the Bab who, after Baha'u'lláh received his divine message and started to share it, refused to acknowledge him as the one whom God would make manifest, who was prophesied by the Bab. So now Baha'u'lláh is addressing them because they caused him great sorrow. Open then your eyes, O people of the Bayan, that haply ye may behold them. It is by virtue of their movement. I guess I'll start this paragraph again so you'll have it in context. He's talking about the believers, and he says, these are they who circle round the cause of God, even as the shadow doth revolve around the sun. Open then your eyes, O people of the Bayan, that haply ye may behold them. It is by virtue of their movement that all things are set in motion, and by reason of their stillness all things are brought to rest. Would that ye might be assured thereof. Through them, the believers in the divine unity have turned towards him who is the object of the adoration of the entire creation. Okay, so let's talk for a minute about divine unity. What is that? And I'm just going to turn the light up a little bit so I can read better. Oh yeah. Okay, maybe that's too much. Let's see. We'll see how this goes. Maybe I could just shine a light right on my book.
Yeah. You have an extra device?
Yeah.
Oh, we have a flashlight in that one.
Okay. So what is Baha'u'lláh talking about when he talks about the divine unity? Because this is an extremely important concept in the Baha'i revelation. So Baha'is believe in the oneness of God, the oneness of religion, and the oneness of the human family. And the oneness of religion basically means that we believe that from age to age, God has sent divine messengers who have educated spiritually the people of the world. In every culture, in every continent, throughout history. So what that means is that Christ, Muhammad, the Bab, Baha'u'lláh, Krishna, Buddha, the Peacemaker, White Buffalo Calf Woman, Quetzalcoatl, that these are divine beings in human form who have been sent by God for our education forever in an endless succession so that humanity will never be left without guidance, regardless of where people live or when they live. And that idea that these messengers of God, or as we call them, manifestations of God, they're one. And Baha'u'lláh says it's not permissible to put one above the others and say this is the best one, or this is the king, or this is the only one, except for the day in which they live. Then they're the most relevant for that day. But okay, Shoshone, it disconnected.
The live stream?
Yeah.
Friends, and thank you for joining me at 6:15 a.m. on this Thursday morning.
Well, we can still
Right?
post it.
Is it Thursday?
We're
Yes.
still
it's
recording here,
Thursday.
that's fine.
So,
gonna post
I
this.
want to do.
So post it,
Okay.
15 minutes so people
Okay.
can see it,
Okay.
and then we'll just go live again.
Okay. All right.
And we're going to read from Summons the Lord of Hosts.
Technical necessities here,
Yeah.
because we're trying to do more than one thing at a time. And it's a good thing I have this young man here, because I wouldn't be able to do it otherwise. This is all because of him. Say hi to the people, Shoshone. This is my nephew. Okay. Oh. All right. Okay. So I just explained about the concept of divine unity. And we believe, Baha'u'lláh says that the most important thing a human being can do within his or her lifetime is to recognize the manifestation of God for the age in which he or she lives. Because that person, that manifestation of God, that's the person or the messenger of God who has the information that's relevant to today's world. And in order to move forward as a human race, we need to know what the laws and teachings are for today. And each time a manifestation comes, he or she brings new light to the world. So all of the revelations are relevant. All of them are important. All of the books, all of the teachings. And the books and the teachings of today explain some of the more obscure things in the past and add to it. So it's important. So we were talking about the believers in this new revelation. And we're in the middle of the paragraph, and it says, through them, the believers in the divine unity, in other words, those who recognize the oneness of religion, have turned towards him who is the object of the adoration of the entire creation, and by them the hearts of the righteous have found rest and composure, could ye but know. Through them the earth hath been established, the clouds have rained down their bounty, and the bread of knowledge hath descended from the heaven of grace, could ye but perceive it. So the earth hath been established. So when he uses the term earth, he's talking about human life. So what do human beings do? You know, we build cities, we have creative projects, we raise families, we have work. This is the earth, as opposed to the next world, with which we connect through our prayer and our meditation and our spiritual study. The clouds have rained down their bounty, so the clouds of knowledge and wisdom and the bread of knowledge have descended from the heaven of grace. These souls are the protectors of the cause of God on earth, who shall preserve its beauty from the obscuring dust of idle fancies and vain imaginings. In the path of their Lord they shall not fear for their lives. Rather will they sacrifice their all in their eagerness to behold the face of their well-beloved, when once he hath appeared in this name, the Almighty, the All-Powerful, the All-Glorious, the Most Holy. O living temple, arise by the power of thyself, in such wise that all created things will be moved to arise with thee. Aid then thy Lord through such ascendancy and might as we have bestowed upon thee. Take heed lest thou falter on that day, when all created things are filled with dismay. Rather be thou the revealer of my name, the help in peril, the self-subsisting. So I'm going to stop there, and tomorrow we'll do more. So for those intrepid souls who like to rise at or before dawn like we do here in this house, I bid you adieu, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for joining me.